Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and today I want to talk about technology. Specifically, computers. Specifically, my trouble with computers over the last few months. But firstly, let's go back 10 years. Let's not do that. Let's go back to 2005 when my father decided to purchase a computer. He bought this computer off his brother. It was an old thing, but we hadn't had a computer in our house before. My granddad had one at his and my nan's house, and we never had one. We couldn't afford. It was very much a luxury, but my uncle was letting this one go cheap. Obviously, it was to his brother. It was coming with games. It had a printer. We were all extremely excited. I obviously monopolised it because that's the type of person I am. We had no internet on it at this point, I'd like to add. It was simply your basic computer. We used it mostly as a word processor for like schoolwork and stuff. And me, when it came into the house, I began, because I'd been writing for a few years at this point. So sorry, it was probably 2004 then. I'd been writing for quite a while, but always had to go to my nan's if I wanted to type them up, or I'd stay to the homework club at school and do that. And so I remember writing a novel on this thing over 1 week. It was really a load of interconnected short stories about I wasn't teenage spies, mine were teenage mafia, because somehow that was different. And a friend of mine was writing about teenage spies. Mentioned him on this channel before, Johnston J. McGuckie, and he released a book called Freedom a few years ago. If you fancy like the sci-fi, Doctor Who type, prisoner type thing, you might like that. Anyway, then in 2008, I was about to enter sixth form, and my father thought, do you know what, it'd be a good idea to buy Charlie a laptop. It was a Saturday. We'd seen that it was cheap at Pound Stretcher, so we drove straight up, and they were closed. So we waited around for an hour, and we went and we bought this 200 and something pound computer. It didn't have Microsoft Word. It didn't have antivirus. It was your bog standard Acer laptop that I proceeded to. It had no case, no nothing, and I bloody hammered the heck out of that thing. In fact, so much I don't actually know when it broke, but the two back hinges broke, and at one point I was holding them together with Elastoplast and then holding it up because it still functioned. So much so that I call that Attila, the indestructible laptop. That's the first one. And then really that died a quick death. I didn't even have that laptop for 2 years. When you pay cheap, it's not the best thing. But at this point we got the internet. We got the internet in 2007, and so I broke that laptop. Then my friend Lindsay sent me another old laptop so that I'd be able to partake in National Novel Writing Month. And I very smartly, even though it wasn't the fastest computer in the world, it was incredibly slow, I decided that I was going to spend the entire first day of National Novel Writing Month writing on that thing. Killed that laptop as well. So, in 2010, I bought my latest laptop. She's red. Her name is Mistletoe. And she's been a godsend. And now, she's buggered, basically. Basically, we've taken her to Curry's a few times since we got her in 2010. You know, regular checkups and all that stuff, fixing the fans. At one point they did something, so when I spoke to Lindsay, she told me I'd basically got an entirely new computer. It just had the documents on it. Well, with Curry's you could pay, £7 a month, and it covered it so that they'd fix anything. Well, unbeknownst to me, my mother decided she wasn't going to pay that anymore last year, and what happens at the start of this year? My computer dies. And so I know I sent all the problems off to my friend. She sent back saying probably need to find a new laptop. Sounds like she's living the last life. And I just thought, I was looking for a new laptop. I was asking on Twitter all the time. I was watching videos on YouTube. I was doing all that fun stuff. And then what happens? I just have this moment where my sister was watching Heartland and I was like, I'm going to go to Curry's. So I went to Curry's and I asked them to recover all the data off the computer, and that's where I should have left it. But I didn't. I was like, could you also try and fix it as well? And so £130 later, I get a phone call. We weren't able to get your data off it. So I go in. Yeah, we couldn't transfer the data. I said I didn't want the data transferred, wanted it recovered. Paid you 130 quid. It's like, oh. Well, obviously you don't want to spend more than that. No, don't want to spend more than that. Plan on getting a new computer. Don't want to spend more than that. Please, just get me my data. So, then I get a phone call a few days later. We got your data. Send my mother in. She brings the data home. Check on my sister's computer to make sure it's there. It's there. But at this point, they've sent off my computer because I paid a lot of money to send off a computer that I'm pretty sure is broken to get it fixed. And then this Sunday, got a phone call. It's at home. And I've mentioned this in a video, so I'll just say about how I had to pay another extra £44 to get the computer sent to me. And then I went and collected my computer yesterday, and I took it home, and it was incredibly slow. I thought, well, that's to be expected, you know. Old computer, but it wasn't as slow as it had been before. I asked it to do probably what I think is the simplest of tasks, which was to open the internet. And sadly, Mistletoe had a moment of madness, senility, and just crashed. And whilst she'll switch on, she can't be asked to do any work. And so I've just paid £170 for a bloody ornamental computer. I'm not going to pretend I'm not angry about it. I'm not going to pretend that I've not had a cup of tea yet this morning, which leads to a lot of ranting and raving, because some people think that caffeine is like a really good booster. Nah, caffeine just calms me the fuck down, because I am so frustrated. I gave my dad back the £650 that I owe him for my car insurance from November, because I was like, this isn't my money and you need to see what your financial assets are going to be. And I was also probably, definitely toying with the idea of purchasing a new dog. And by that, I don't mean like I'm going to a puppy farm or I'm going somewhere, you know, my brother has some dogs and I feel like it's the perfect time in my life to train an animal and raise it and do all that fun stuff. So, you know, when I'm at the old age of 37, it should hopefully still be around. And so last night I was there looking at all my finances and looking at all that fun stuff, and I realised that it's going to be at least May before I can purchase a computer, but it might also be June because I forgot to factor in flaming rent. And Lord have mercy on my soul, whilst I do really enjoy the process of writing longhand, I am paying for Netflix for my brother and sister to watch. I am watching YouTube on my phone, missing a ton of videos because my phone just cannot cope with the sheer amount of booktube videos that there are out there and begins to heat up as fast as flaming mistletoe did. And it is incredibly frustrating. Anyway, I'm disappearing now after I've done my second rant of the morning. What do you know about laptops? What would you recommend? I've already spoken to Dave over at Wild Reads, Will over at the Bald Book Geek, Steve at Steve Donahue has mentioned this as well, Sue over at Sue's Book Nook liked Steve Donahue's tweet, and then the final person I was just talking about, I've flaming forgotten already. I'm really sorry. Was it Lisa at West Coast Reads again? I think I asked her in a comment what her current computer was. This is a situation that I have decided that I have to wait out until the end of May to figure out what my finances are going to be. But Lord, I am frustrated. I hope you enjoyed something within this video. It's been 10 minutes. I'm very sorry. Until next time, that is all.